Hi there, welcome back to the series of Master Python with practice questions, where we learn by doing. In this session, we are going to embark on question 5, so let's get started. So the question says, using a function and variables entered from the keyboard, write a program that calculates the area of a triangle of base 2 and height 3, and then we are being given the formula where the area of the triangle is half times base times height. So for this question, we're actually going to work with two approaches. The first approach is going to be an approach whereby we are creating a function without parameters. So we are going to define the function. This is going to be approach 1. So the function name, of course, must always be relevant to the problem stated. So we are trying to calculate the area of the triangles. That means that we can create the function name as area of the triangle. You can just simplify this to area of triangle to make it precise. So we are being told that the variables must be entered from the keyboard. So according to the formula, we can see that it works with the base and the height. That means that we have to work with the base and the height in a way that they are being entered from the keyboard. So we are going to go ahead and define variables like base, that is going to store the value of the base for the triangle from the keyboard. So with the fact that we are being given base as 2 and height as 2, we shall ensure that we cast the input value and then we pass in the input function. Then we go ahead and pass in the prompt string that says enter the base of the triangle. So I'm going to copy this so that we'll use it for the height, and I will ensure that the indentation is fine. So the variable that is going to store the height, we can also define the variable name as height. Then the string has to be enter the height of the triangle. So having defined the base and the height, we have to go ahead and create a variable that is going to store the area of the triangle based on this expression. So the variable is going to be area, then we assign it to, we are being told that the area is a half, then we pass in the asterisk symbol such that it enables us to cater for the multiplication. Then we are multiplying it with the base and then the height. So for the first approach, we are going to return a customized output for the area. So I'll say print the area of the triangle. Not forgetting that for this approach, I'm going to work with the string formatter. So the area of the triangle of base, then we pass in the base variable, and height, pass in the height variable, is pass in the area, and we are also going to ensure that we format the area to 2 decimal places. So .2 f, because this expression is likely to return a float type, but we can always confirm. We can always print and then we pass in the type of this variable. So for this case, I'm ensuring that it is having 2 decimal places. So having created the function, we are going to go ahead and call it area of a triangle. When I run the program, so I also ensure that we are printing this after a first line. So I'm going to add an escape character \n, then I'll terminate the terminal, and then we run the application. So enter the base of the triangle, base is 2, and then the height is 3. The area of a triangle of base 2 and height 3 is 3.0. That is approach 1. So we are going to work with approach 2 by copying this here, and this is approach 2. So for this approach, the function is going to take in parameters of the base and the height. We can actually say base, b, and height, such that the base and height are now not local variables of the function, but we work with the parameters that we have passed in, b and h, and we also update these to the base and the height. So if we are to test this approach 2, we have to ensure that the base and the height are now global, but not stored as local variables within the function. So first of all, comment out this function called on line 15. And now for us to be able to test approach 2, I'm going to go ahead and call the function by saying area of triangle approach 2. Now when I try to call this function for approach 2, we can see that it expects the base and the height. So whenever you work with parameters, you ensure that you are passing them in for cases whereby you are calling the function. So the parameters we are now passing in is the base, the value that we have defined here, and then the height. So I'm going to go ahead and clear up this terminal very fast and rerun the application. Enter the base of the triangle. Base is 2, and then height is 3. Area of the triangle of base 2 and height is 3, so it is the same output. There are cases whereby you can also just return the value itself. So for approach 2, we can just return the value, which is area. So I'm going to rerun the application, enter the base of the triangle, then the height of the triangle is going to be 3. So now for approach 2, if we return the area as a value and we try to call the function, we can pretty say that we are not getting any output for the area of the triangle. So area will be assigned to this such that we print the area, this value. Then when I try to run the application, I enter the base as 3 and maybe the height as 2, then we are getting 3.0. So you always have to choose an approach depending on how the question has been set. So if I actually just update this back to what we had, because now for this case we are trying to repeat oneself, so we can just print the area and then we call the function. So when I rerun the application, I enter the base as 2 and then the height as 3, then we can see that the output is 3.0. And of course we can always cast this maybe to, because apparently it is a float, then we can maybe cast it to type int to one integer. So I'll go ahead and pass in the int constructor, then we run the application. So when I enter the base as 2 and the height 3, we can see that the output is 3. So that is all for this question. Thanks for watching and see you again in the next session where we are going to embark on question 6.